for this reading vlog, I'm reading books that are out of my comfort zone. So I chose a sci-fi book, a lit fic book, a thriller, a horror book, and a dark academia. I think the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with my least comfy genre and get to my one that I think is probably the most comfortable. My least comfortable genre would probably be horror or lit fic, and then dark academia and thriller and sci-fi. That's probably the order I will read them in. Alright, so the first book that I'm going to be reading out of my comfort zone is going to be my horror pick, which is The Whisper Man by Alex North.
Okay, this is getting real scary. I hate stories that are miscommunication. Just be honest. It drives me crazy. Oh my goodness. I'm like seeing red right now. So I just now finished The Whisper Man. And okay, so excuse my hair. It's cold out here, so I don't really want to put it up. Maybe I'll put it up. All right, excuse my hair, but it's cold out here, and I want to go ahead and get this filmed so that I can go ahead and start on this one. So I just finished The Whisper Man. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is Severance by Ling Ma. It is a literary fiction or a lit pick. What? Lit fic pick. I watched a couple lit fic pick videos, and this was on several recommendations. So this is on several people's lists. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the synopsis or whatever. Guys, I don't remember what exactly it's about, but I remember it sounded interesting when they were talking about it. So that's why I wrote this one down. All right, it says, is it the end of the world or just another day at the office? Candace Chin, newly minted New Yorker, first-generation American, recent orphan, millennial worker bee, loves going to work. She likes the routine and the anonymity of the city. She likes coordinating the production of specialty Bibles, having a project to complete, an object to create, troubles to shoot. Sometimes she likes watching movies in her boyfriend's basement apartment. Lather, rinse, repeat. So Candace barely notices when Chin fever sweeps New York. Families flee. Companies cease operation. The subways squeak to a halt. Persuaded by a big payout to be a one-person skeleton crew at the office, she spends her free time photographing the abandoned city as an anonymous blogger, NY Ghost. Eventually, though, Candace will have to escape from Manhattan, enter a group of survivors led by a power-hungry IT specialist named Bob. They're traveling to a place called The Facility, where, Bob promises, they will have everything they need to start society anew. But Candace is guarding a secret Bob will certainly exploit. Will her rescuers become her captors? A send up and take down of the rituals, routines, and missed opportunities of contemporary life. Ling Ma's Severance is a moving family story, a quirky coming-of-adulthood tale, and a hilarious deadpan satire in which the end of the world gets put in its rightful place. Just another setback for an already besieged culture. Most of all, it's a heartfelt tribute to the connections that drive us to do more than survive. Huh. Well, that doesn't sound like what I remember them saying. But we'll see. I don't know if I would pick it up based on that. Probably not. I probably wouldn't pick it up based on that synopsis. But from what other people were saying about it, it sounded better than that to me. But we'll see. I think it's fairly, yeah, it's only 291 pages, 26 chapters. So it's fairly short. So I feel like I should be able to read this fairly quickly. So, yep, we'll be starting Severance. Good morning, guys. So, last night I started Severance, but I noticed something when I went to put it into my Goodreads and Storygraph. I went to put it into Storygraph, and I saw Lit Fic, but also dystopian and science fiction or sci-fi. So it's not just Lit Fic. It is also sci-fi. So I might be able to consider it sci-fi and Lit Fic, because I don't think I'm gonna have time for all of the books. I mean, I'm gonna read Ready Player One too, but maybe not for this video. Maybe just for a wrap up or something, or just maybe just for, reading what I want to read. But yeah, so this is Lit Fic, but it is also sci-fi. So good to know. I don't remember anybody that I watched saying that it's sci-fi. I could be wrong, but I don't remember anybody saying it was sci-fi. Hey guys, so I have started Severance. I just read the first chapter. So this book was written in 2018, and that was before COVID. And in this book, there is a Shin fever that came from China. And, the first chapter is them being like, oh, well, there's this fever that some people are getting, but evidently it's a fungus. So it's more along the lines of, like, The Last of Us. And, like, the symptoms and stuff, of course, they're general symptoms, kind of like COVID. But they're a little different than COVID, too. But I just find it interesting that this book came out right before COVID did. That's interesting. Also, one thing that I don't really like about this book is that there's no quotation marks. Like, if somebody's talking, it's just like another sentence. It's like any other sentence. There's no quotations to let you know that this is the dialogue being said. I don't know why an author would choose to do that, because I find myself reading it like a sentence, and then I'm like, oh, somebody said that, and then I gotta like go back and picture it as somebody saying it. Like, I don't know. I don't like that. So this is an example of one time when I think this book really could have used some quotation marks, because in this paragraph, to me, it sounds like she is talking to the reader or talking to her inner monologue. She says, I was like everyone else. We all hoped the storm would knock things over, fuck things up enough, but not too much. We'd hoped the damage was bad enough to cancel work the next morning, but not so bad that we couldn't get to brunch instead. And to me, that sounds like an explanation to us, but he responds and says, brunch? And to me, it sounds like she was talking to us, and he responds to it. So she was actually talking to him, and it was just really confusing. And yeah, I just wish this book had some quotation marks. Hey guys, so I am about 40 pages in, and I'm really struggling with this one. I'm struggling. I just don't like the main character. I don't like her. And I'm just bored. Like, it started off with introducing us to her group. And they had all, like, bonded and stuff. And then they found her. And so she doesn't feel bonded to them. And then it jumped to right before the outbreak, I guess, the fever. And her boyfriend basically breaking up with her, asking her to leave New York because he doesn't like it. And, she's like, no, I don't want to. I like New York. And he's like, okay, well, I guess that means we break up. Like, I don't know. It doesn't say if they actually broke up or not. Because the next thing is she's at work. She walks into work and she's late because she slept through her alarm, or her alarm didn't go off or something. And she gets there late, and they're already in the meeting talking about the fever, the Shin fever. And so she gets to work and stuff like that. And then it jumps to after the fever. And it basically tells us that, they're like, the people who are infected are not aggressive. They just are doing the things that they always did. Like, if it was me, probably getting up, going out, feeding the horses, opening the chickens, like coming in, eating some breakfast. Like, it's routine based. Like, they just are doing their routine. Like, it talks about loading empty dishwashers and, doing stuff that they would normally do, but now there's no need to, if that makes sense. And then it says that they kill them as they find them, even though they're non-aggressive and they don't do anything to them. Like they say they're not zombies and they're not vampires. They're just routine monsters. I don't know. And then it's really strange because she's like sitting there talking to them, and she like asks a question, and then like turn the page and she's up and thrown up, and another girl's asking, "Are you okay?" Like, it was really jarring. And then now it's jumped back to all the way when she first moved to New York, and it's just, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking her. She seems like stereotypical girl who moves to New York. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that girl. I'm not that girl. And they zap my energy. Like, it's just, ugh. I just can't. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna give it a few chapters to really get into it, because I'm on chapter 3, which they're long ass chapters. But I'm on chapter 3. I normally give it about 3 or 4 chapters. I normally give everything about 3. Like TV shows, I'll give them 3 episodes. Books, I'll give them like 3 chapters. I normally have like a rule of 3, and then I'll stop or I'll end something. But so I'll see. I'll try to finish chapter 3. I still got a lot of chapter 3 left, because like I said, they're big chapters. But I'll try to finish chapter 3 and then see how I feel. And I may soft DNF it and maybe go on to The Housemaid. I don't know. That room is just calling to me. I don't know. But yeah, so just know that I'm not enjoying it that much. But this is supposed to be uncomfortable. But I feel like I could fall asleep right now. And I'm like, I shouldn't feel that way. I don't know. I'm just kind of meh. I'm just meh about it. I'm not liking it. Do I force myself to keep reading, or do I just soft DNF it? Maybe I'll ask you guys. If you see a post about DNFing, just know that this is what it was from. Okay, bye. Oh man, I look tired. So I just wanted to hop on here and say that I did take a little break from Severance, and I picked up the Count of Monte Cristo, the manga classics. Maverick and I went to the library yesterday, and I found the section with all of them, and I was like, I had recently bought the Count of Monte Cristo, like the whole book, and it is giant. So I was like, maybe I'll read the manga. Manga. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I read the manga, and it was so good. It was cool. If you don't know, like manga, you read it differently. Like if you notice, the spine is on this side instead of on that side, and you read it from right to left. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, but it wasn't hard to read it like that. I guess because it's, like more like a comic, there's pictures and stuff. So it's a lot easier than I thought, because the bubbles are separated and stuff, like whatever. But at the end of it, so as you can tell, you read this one first, and then you go to that one, and then the whole middle one, and then it goes to that little one, and then this little one, and then the middle, and then the side left, right? And then the same for this side, right? That one, all straight across, read it that way, and then that small one, and then those, and then of course the last page. So when I get over to here, I'm like reading it, and then I turn to here, and I'm like, wait a minute, 2? Is there number 1 over here? No, it jumps back to left or right. I was so confused. I was like, where's number 1? Why? And then I noticed that it says continued from page 1. And I was like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Just keep it in left to right. Like, well, I mean, like, right at left to, you know what I mean? Like, right at left to right, but just do it, like, in the same page order. Just, like, you know what I mean? Like, go from here to here, and there to there. Like, don't go from there to there to there. What the heck? That doesn't make any sense. Because, yeah, there's number 1 right there. And then it goes up to 2. Come on, guys. Come on. Hey, guys. So, a little update on Severance. I'm really struggling with it. I don't like the character. And I don't really understand. Like, it goes back to, like, the present day, which is them, you know, after the end is what she calls it. And then it goes to before the end. Like, it randomly cuts back to, like, her parents when they first came to America. And then, like, and then it's, like, cutting into, like, when she met Jonathan. I don't know, I don't like the past stuff. I want to learn more about the fever and, you know, all of that stuff, how they're dealing with the fever. Because it's very interesting to me that they're like non-aggressive. So I'm like, well, why are y'all killing them then? And they say it's a mercy to take them out of their loop, because they show a scene where, I'll set you down, because they show a scene where they are stalking, which means that they're going into somebody's house and collecting supplies. And when they're on the stalk, it's a live stalk. So that means there are people there. There are fevered there. And so the men go in first, and they kind of corral everybody into all the fevered into one room and close the door. And then they allow all the women to come in and stalk and collect all the supplies. And so we see one, and they, you know, of course, this fever makes everybody just repeat routines that they do on a daily basis. So they herded this family into the dining room, and the mom sets out the plates, and they all sit down, they all say grace, and then they pretend to eat, and then she picks up the plates again and pretends to carry him away, and then she turns right back around and sets the table again. She sits down, they all say grace, they all pretend to eat, and then she collects all the plates again. And then they just keep repeating that thing because they're just in the dining room, and that's the routine that you do in the dining room, right? So that part is so interesting, and that's what is like keeping me reading it, is because I want to know more about that, because, you know, I've seen The Walking Dead, I've seen The Last of Us. I haven't played The Last of Us yet, but I've heard it is a phenomenal game. Like, it still holds up even though it came out years ago. And so it's interesting to me the difference between, you know, Walking Dead and Last of Us, because Last of Us is a fungal disease too, but it makes them kind of like zombies. And whereas this is just puts them in a routine, or it makes them repeat their routines. And that's interesting. I got to the part where a girl that was in their group, they were close to her house, and she was like, you know what, I got some weed at my house. If we go back to my house, then, you know, I can get my weed and we can smoke some weed. And so just a couple of them, they don't tell Bob, who's their leader, and they don't tell him. They just kind of go to her house. And when they get there, she just starts like trying on all her clothes, and like it's like she can't help it. So she's fevered now. And they were like, well, she was fine. What happened? And Candace, who's the main character, makes a comment that it's almost like the memories triggered it. Like her going back to her house triggered it. And so that's interesting. I like that. But I just want to stay with them. And they say that they kill them as a mercy, so that they're not stuck in this endless loop. But it makes a point of saying that they're not there. Like, the girl that Ashley, the girl who gets fevered when she goes back to her home, she like looks at Candace, and Candace says that she's not there. And she's trying to talk to her, and there's no even recognition that somebody's talking to her. Like there's no, she doesn't even know that Candace is talking to her. And so I don't know. That's a interesting predicament or problem. I don't know. I think predicament might be the right word. And they're non-aggressive, just repeating rituals that they've done for years, but they're just repeating rituals that they've done for years. They're not there. So is it a mercy to kill them, or is it just cruel to kill something who's not attacking you? So I like that. But I don't like the other stuff. But, you know, when I got to the memory part, I'm like, well, maybe that's why we're going back and forth between her past memories and what's going on presently. Maybe that's why we're getting all the past stuff. But I just don't like it. I don't like her character in the past. Her character in the future is fine. I mean, she doesn't say much. From what we see in the future. Hi. Hi, Mama. My chicken. Oh, she moved. My chicken was standing there talking to me. Hello. What you doing? Oh, of course, Willow can't let me talk to anybody else but her. But anyways, so she's not killing a chicken. She got her stuffed animal. I realized that it looked like she was killing a chicken back there. But anyways, I just don't. In the present day, we don't really get much of Candace. You know, she's just. They found her after they had already all bonded, which makes her feel like an outsider, and they, you know, are kind of given the air that she is still an outsider to them. You know, she's just kind of going along for the ride. So there's not really much to her character in the present tense. But in the past, she just seems very selfish and shallow, materialistic. I don't know. I just not attributes that I like in a character. But I mean, if there's growth, then yeah. But I'm not seeing that growth. Does that make sense? Like, I'm over halfway through the book now, and I feel like I should. I don't know. I'm not really caring for it. I'll leave it at that. Hey guys, so I finished Severance by Ling Ma, and I did not like it. Nope. I didn't like it at all. I mean, I've already said a bunch of stuff that I felt about it, but I also feel like I don't know what it was trying to say. So it's called Severance. So I guess she has a hard time severing herself from, I guess, what she pictured of her life or something. You know, she wanted to live in New York. That's like the only thing that she was ever like truly like, this is what I want, was to live in New York. Like her job, she had tried to quit it once, and then she was just kind of in it because she was good at it, and you know, she just settled in it. And then, you know, she slept around. She was never like, I mean, the guy who gets her pregnant, Jonathan, is the closest, or I guess the best thing she has to a relationship, which, you know, but when she talks about him, it's not. It's like she doesn't care about him, and she has no problem severing herself from him. And she's lost both her parents. She doesn't have anybody, and it's like she doesn't want anybody.
Hi guys.
There's Marriott. But it's like she doesn't want anybody, and like it doesn't seem like she's really got friends. And
subscribe. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't like it. I didn't understand what it was trying to say. And then like the Christian parts of it, like there was a couple of Bible verses, and you know, like the leader of their group was always praying before they went into stalks and stuff, and he was always praying before they went into stalks and before meals, and you know, like He was always praying. But then he was a jerk and like imprisoned her in the mall. And so it's like, and then it doesn't paint her mom out to be a very good person. And she is like, she found Jesus and like became a Christian. And I just feel like nothing happened. Like even in the future ones, like the guy's holding her, Bob is holding her prisoner in the mall. Why? Because she went on the stalk with Ashley and them. And I mean, he made Evan stay in the mall. Like he couldn't leave to go on raids and stuff or go on stalks. But she was confined into her store. That's it. She didn't have, they brought her food and I don't know. I didn't like it. It's just, I should have just DNF'd it. Because it didn't, I was like, maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. She'll find Jonathan. She didn't even tell Jonathan she was pregnant. Doesn't even know where he is. Was living in her office building and working. Why? That doesn't make any sense. I understand, she was like, I signed a contract saying that I would work to this date. But clearly the jobs have all dried up. They're not getting any new jobs. So you're stealing money, right? Because there's no work. There's no work to be done. So you're just going in and doing nothing and making money. So you're stealing their money. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it at all. Didn't like it at all. I don't understand what the hype is. Is lost on me. No idea. So that's just my opinion. If you like Severance, comment below and tell me what you love about it and what you get from it. Like the message or like the theme or, you remember those assignments in school. What's the theme of this reading? I have no idea what the theme of this is. I have no idea. So I have no idea what she's trying to say here. And I didn't like it. So if you did, comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your opinions. Because I would genuinely like to know. I'm always looking up opposing opinions on things. So please help me understand what everybody loves about this book so much. I'm honestly asking. Now I am about to start my thriller read, The Housemaid. The little girl freaks out and she's like, she's trying to kill me. What do you mean? Why would I do that? And then it's just one thing after another. Is this an unreliable narrator? Is she getting told things and she's just not remembering? But yeah, I'm dying to know who's the crazy person. So I'm intrigued. I finished The Housemaid and